Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome along to your first watch-along live on the Sports Corner channel. It is finals weekend. We've already had some incredible action with the darts last night, but what an incredible weekend we have got to come in terms of the football. It's the final weekend of league action in pretty much world football, and it's going to be an absolute firecracker, as the Championship Play-Off Final is what starts your bank holiday weekend at Wembley. The pressure is on the line. The Premier League is just potentially 90 minutes away for one of these two teams. But which side will be the victor when we get to around about 5 o'clock tonight? We will have to find out, as the teams, of course, getting ready to come out. And most importantly, I'm ready for some action. How are we all doing? Welcome along, everyone. Good to see you all. Of course, we had a bit of darts yesterday. Really good night of action. And hopefully for those of you that did watch the darts, you all enjoyed it, because we are now back for football action. As I said before, it is the last week of normal league action. And it's not really normal league action anymore, is it? It's a cup final we've got right now. Brentford taking on Swansea with kickoff just a few moments away. Now, don't forget, as always, if you are new to the stream, do leave a like and a subscription on the channel. It is massively appreciated for those of you that haven't left a sub already. We are pushing towards 2,200 subscribers, and we are literally about, I'd say, 5 or 10 off. So if you want to help us get towards that goal, then do leave a subscription today. Let's go through the teams. I think that's the best thing to do. We are a few minutes away from kickoff. And just seeing to see how all of you guys are doing in the chat today. Hopefully you're all good and well, ready for what should be a very good week of action. Now, they're doing the national anthems, so I'm going to take that off for a second. And let's go through the lineups before we get into this afternoon's game. Starting off with the Brentford team, it is pretty much the same side that faced off against Bournemouth in the semi-final second leg. David Raya is in goal. The back three, that's been the formidable back three for Brentford over the last few weeks. Henrik Dalsgaard, Pontus Jansson alongside Ethan Pinnock. Midfield five, Sergi Canos is on the left-hand side. It's actually Vitaly Janelt on the right. Midfield three of Emiliano Marcondes, Matthias Jensen, and I've just realised I've put Marcondes twice. I've had an absolute nightmare. I apologise about that. Ivan Toney and Mbeumo up top. That is the lineup there. As for the Swansea lineup, that is correct. I've got it sorted out. That is the lineup today for Swansea. 4-3-3. Freddie Woodman is in goal. Jake Bidwell and Kyle Norton are the two full-backs. Kyle Norton, of course, has been one of the few players who has played in the Premier League with Swansea. Mark Guehi and Ben Cabango, formidable back two, are the two centre-backs today. Midfield three, Jay Fulton, Conor Hurrihan and Matt Grimes are in the midfield. We've got one Scot, one Irishman and an Englishman. And then up top, another one of the players that was there in the Premier League, Andre Ayew. He's on the right-hand side, of course, being a brilliant player for Swansea over the last few years. Connor Roberts is up top. He comes back in today to the Swansea team. Jamal Lowe, brilliant player on his day. He's on the left-hand side. A whole host of other players who could come off from the bench as well, the likes of Jan Danda. You've got Manning, you've got Cullen, you've got Morgan Whittaker. Plenty of players that can do the business for Swansea today. Dimski's in the building. How are we doing, Dimski, my friend? He says, wow, Josh, you are the Energizer Bunny of commentary. Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what, I've got to keep as much energy as I can, because I think I'm going to be doing most of the weekend's playoff action. But honestly, really excited for it. It's that time of the year, isn't it, for any football fan, whether you are a neutral, whether you are one of the fans of the two clubs playing in today's game. It's just one of those special occasions, isn't it, where realistically everything is on the line. It's so exciting. And it just makes for a captivating experience. You know, Brentford, they were here last year in the playoff final. Lost 2-0 to Fulham in very disappointing fashion. Of course, we all remember the Joe Bryan goal, which got them in the incredible free kick, which caught David Raya out. As for Swansea, the last time they were in the Championship Play-Off Final was, I think, around about 10 years ago. It was when Brendan Rodgers was in charge in one of probably the best playoff games we've ever had. 4-2 against Reading. Absolute belter of a game that was a few years ago. Of course, Brendan Rodgers going on to bigger and better things. Could we maybe see a similar game tonight? Because, look, both of these teams have been brilliant in terms of how they've been this season in the Championship. Brentford, the top scorers in the EFL Championship, I believe with 84 goals in the league campaign. As for Swansea, one of the better defensive sides. It could be attack versus defence, but don't forget, Swansea, they've made the playoffs twice in a row. They made it last season and lost out eventually in the semi-finals. They've gone one better this year, and they'll be hoping that they can go out there today and get that all-important victory on the board that they will so desperately be craving. As everybody is in the building, how are you doing, Kyle? Welcome along to the stream, my friend. And Chris is in the building as well. He's put his prediction in for this game. He's gone 2-1 Brentford. Kyle has gone for Brentford to win 3-0. He wants them to win. Interesting prediction there. And I'm not going to lie, I want to see Brentford in the Prem as well. I think there's a lot of people today, unless you're a Swansea fan, Cardiff fans and a whole host of other Championship teams, I think we'll be looking to see if Brentford can make the Premier League, because they had the chance last year. They didn't get it last year because of Fulham's 2-0 win last season. They have, in my opinion, a real good opportunity to make the Premier League today. I've got a bet on. I've got 20 quid on. Toney and Ayew, one shot on target each, one corner for each team in each half, and 20 booking points. That's 10 points for yellow card, 20 points for a red for each team. 20 quid returns 200 quid. Why not have one last bet before the season's done? No bets after that for the rest of the summer. As we're about to get underway with the game. Now, I'm going to try and very quickly sort out moving my microphone so it's not in the way, so I can actually see everything that's going on slightly. But Steve Cooper, never actually been in the playoffs before. This is his first time in the final at the very least. Of course, he was actually in the playoffs last season when they lost to Brentford 3-2. So he'll be hoping today that it's a much better game, a much improved match, and most importantly as well, on a bank holiday weekend where we expect the weather to be nice, it is a scorcher of a weekend in London, and no doubt it's going to be a fantastic weekend of footballing action as well. As Bernaldo's in the building, he's put 'em on the bees. How are we doing, Bernaldo? As we get underway with the action in the Championship Final, just 90 minutes, potentially, is between Premier League and the riches of one of the best divisions in world football, and that's exactly what both Swansea and Brentford are fighting for. And look, they've both had, cracks at the whip over the last few years, and one of them will be going up, but who will make it? I have got the timer on the screen. I'm just going to very quickly sort it out. I am going to say as well, of course, with this game going on, for those of you that are watching, try not to spoil what's going on in the game today. I will be a little bit behind, I think, in comparison to the actual live coverage on a TV screen. So hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, I'm not too far behind. But I'm going to very quickly move my microphone, and hopefully it doesn't disconnect my camera. I'm going to slowly move it here. And I'm hoping, if I can very quickly move it here, we should be alright. Hopefully you guys can hear me, and I can now see everything on my screen. And it should be a firecracker of a game. Really, really excited for it. I mean, Bernaldo's saying today, very exciting day today. Promotion here. Relegation in Germany, of course, the Cologne game, which is a really exciting one. And City to maybe win the big one. It's a massive, massive day for any neutral, as there's already a chance for Swansea to come forward slightly, but good defending at the back from Yaroslav. And yeah, I think it's a very exciting day for any fan of football. You know, you've got a whole host of different games with different backgrounds and context to them. And we have got the Champions League final tonight. I'll be back again. We've got KDL and Rowan joining us tonight for that. I think we might have Will as well. We'll have to see. But there's at least going to be 3 of us there tonight. And I'm looking forward to it, because it should be a very, very exciting day of football overall. Let's hope it's a firecracker of a game, this one. It's going to be Brentford coming forward here in the early seconds. It's going to be Emiliano Marcondes. Ball lobbed into the box. Shouts for a penalty on Brian Mbeumo, but not really a big shout whatsoever. And, favourable decision there from the referee to not give that as a pen. I think we'll see a replay of that in a little moment. Just going to try and quickly move this wire out of the way. Chance here, though, maybe for Swansea to hit on the break. Going to be Connor Roberts. Full of athleticism, as you would expect in these early sections of these ties. You want to try and get that nice early goal in the game. Really set the tone for the match. And very similar, actually, to what happened in the previous game that Swansea played in a few years ago in the playoffs. That 4-2 win against Reading. An absolute belter of a match that was. Really, really good game overall. As seeing what you guys have been saying in the chat. Chris saying, well done to Johnny Clayton. Won the Masters in January. Won the Super Series Pro title. And now Premier League champion. For me, have to say he's the best player in the world right now. He's won everything this year, which I completely agree with you. I think the form he's on right now is unbelievable. And the fact that all of the competitions he won doesn't count as money to his rankings is a shame. Real shame for him. As Chris has said, will it be Wales Day today? We'll have to see. Could be a good weekend for Welsh football. You've got, of course, Swansea today. We had Johnny Clayton win yesterday, the darts. Potentially Newport as well on Monday. So lots of opportunities for teams and just Welsh sports in general to have a really good run this week. As Daz is in the building, hope you're good, Daz, as always. He says, I had a Brentford 10-11 to win, £1 stake. And then he said also Chelsea 10-3 to win tonight. I think that's quite interesting. Really looking forward to that game a little bit later on. For me, it's just one of those matches where I think there's a lot on the line. And it should be an interesting game to watch. I've got a feeling Mason Mount and Phil Foden are going to have good games. Maybe even score. But we'll have to see. As Brentford have an early bit of defending to do here. Of course, two players they're going to want to keep out in this afternoon's game. Jamal Lowe, of course, former Wigan and Portsmouth player. Incredible on his day. And I think he is a player that could potentially do very well in the Premier League for Swansea if they were to go up. And then, as we said, of course, earlier, Andre Ayew, probably the most notable player on the Swansea side, had a lot of matches as a Swansea player. So the first tackle's gone in here. And I think... Are there any cards going to come out? Yes, there is. Jack Grimes is going to come out. Yellow card coming out here. Referee, of course, wanting to make sure that this game is played very well. And let's make sure, you know, if the flying tackles are going in early on, that basically the Toney set for this game. And that's exactly what the referee is going to do here. Yellow card coming out. Jack Fulton going to go into the book here, I think. And I'm just seeing, in fact, sorry, Matt Grimes will go into the book. And it was a really nasty challenge, I've got to say. Really risky one. Goes in with the 2 feet as well. And I tell you what, he might be very lucky here, Matt Grimes, to have not actually been sent off. Because he went in with a 2-footed tackle there, 5 minutes into the game. And I'll tell you something, referee there, probably very lucky to have not maybe given that more of red than a yellow, to be honest with you. But an early card in the game. Chris saying, I told you Welsh players are good. They've all had a bit of the Welsh magic, that's for sure. But yeah, I think Matt Grimes there, a little bit lucky to maybe have not got a worse card there. Lunging tackle. Of course, referee not wanting to give out a red card straight away in this game. That would be a bit of a catastrophic decision, but it could have been a right one as Swansea going to come forward here. It's Cal Norton into Connor Roberts. Benal's have I got a red card bet or just yellows? So basically for my bet, as it stands, I've got Toney and Andre Ayew to just have one shot on target in the match. 1+ corners for each team in each half, which I'm hoping happens. Obviously, we don't have any corners yet, but we're quite early into the game. And then 20+ booking points for each team. So basically, 10 booking points is a yellow card. 20 booking points is a red card. So we've already got 10 booking points for Swansea after 5 minutes. And realistically speaking, for me, more than anything, it's just the corners that need to be done fairly quickly to get them on. But Daz saying Chris Kavanagh is the ref. He's indeed Premier League ref, as you've said in the chat. You are spot on, my friend Daz, with that. And then Chris saying as well, Grimes was lucky there. I think he's very lucky. I think he's really lucky. You know, if we were to have a red card 5 minutes into the game, I think it could have been very worrying for Swansea in this match. But, you know, Kavanagh let him off the hook there. Maybe didn't see the tackle in the best of light. I don't think VAR is in play for this final because it's the Championship, which is a real shame because I do think on a situation like this they've got to at least have VAR on. But I don't think it is. Maybe I'm wrong and it is, but we'll have to see. And then Carl says, heard that Spurs want to try and bring back Pochettino. So you sack him because he was doing a poor job, but now you want him back. Why? Spurs for you, isn't it? Weird club. No, I just think the thing with Spurs is it was one of those situations where they realised what they'd lost the instant minute Poch had gone. I know obviously Poch hasn't had the most amazing time in PSG, and that's not his fault. You know, PSG have had a lot of injuries, but when you think about it, in a season where PSG have had a lot of players out injured and COVID and stuff, they got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Oh, and Bournemouth's been taken down, and the referee gives a penalty. And just like that, referee points to the penalty spot. Freddie Woodman's taken Mbeumo down. Penalty to Brentford, and a right decision at that. And Sergi Canos has gone rushing over to the referee to disagree, but I think Chris Kavanagh is spot on here with the decision. And it's a ball from Sergi Canos. It's fed into Bryan Mbeumo. He just clips the back of Mbeumo's leg, and spot on decision from the referee there. Penalty given, and just like that, Brentford have a chance from the penalty spot to take the lead in this game. As Michael Brown, welcome to the stream, my friend. He says, I've just come across your podcast and subscribed to it. Thank you very much, Michael. Is this a Brentford or Swansea supporting podcast? Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Rotherham United fan. So I'm watching this kind of as a neutral. But if I was to back someone, I would probably be backing Brentford. I'm not going to lie. But Ivan Toney, the man here, who, of course, scored from the penalty spot last week in that brilliant semi-final, against Bournemouth, now has the chance to put Brentford into the lead after 10 minutes. For Woodman, can he go from zero to hero? Toney steps up, slow walk up, and he's into the bottom left-hand corner. And just like that, the Championship top scorer bags in the playoff final. 1-0 to Brentford, and they are in the lead at Wembley. And the 12,000 fans, well, 6,000 of them probably, are all celebrating in style. 1-0 to Brentford. The perfect start, and not the best of starts at all for Swansea. Could have already been down to 10 men. Obviously gave away the penalty with Freddie Woodman. And now they find themselves 1-0 down. A deserved lead for Brentford. Huge pressure on that penalty, let's not forget. But the comfortable nature of the way that he walked up to the spot there, absolutely brilliant. And Brentford take the lead after 10 minutes. I think we might be on for a cracker, baby. We'll have to find out. As Kale's in the bin now, didn't Kale? Hope you're good, mate. But why isn't Mbeumo been playing with afterburners on these last two games? He's moving at the speed of light. Well, don't you worry, Kale. Maybe Godos at some point will come on and bag today. And then, of course, Mocktoff saying, for fuck's sake, Swansea really wanted Swansea to bag. Early days, though. 10 minutes on the clock. A lot of time in this game. But with the way that the first 10 minutes has started, I think we could be on course for a very good match here. Kyle saying, come on, Brentford, of course, with the goal there. And then Michael Brown saying, I wanted Rotherham and Sheff Wednesday to both stay up in the Championship. I'm a Leeds United supporter. Good season for you guys at Leeds. Congratulations. Good finish for you guys. It's a shame. But I did say at the end of the day, when I did the Championship final day, I said, for me, we went down. But with the way that the day was and everything that went on with the last day, with Derby Wednesday, I mean, to be a part of that is incredible. It's a shame we went down, but the whole context of that Derby Wednesday game made the last day so much more exciting. I think it's probably one of the best last days we've had in the Championship for quite some time. So I enjoyed it, as weird as that is to say. I enjoyed it. But Kale saying, I'm good, lad, thank you. Good to hear, mate. Even better now, Josh has mentioned the legendary Godos. We'll have to see if he comes on at some point off the bench. But a good start to this game. Very good start to this game. And a brilliant start for my bet, because isn't that technically a shot on target for Ivan Toney? If I'm checking Sky Bet now, I don't think will they count that as a shot on target because it was from the spot. Let me have a look. Player stats. Yep, Ivan Toney shot on target. Perfect. So we've had a shot on target. We've had 10 booking points for Swansea. We just need a few more corners here, but we are going to have a free kick for Brentford here. A few nasty tackles going in from Swansea in this first 10 or 15 minutes. Cal Norton, who's just wiped out Sergi Canos. And really clever footwork from the Spaniard. And eventually, in the end, Cal Norton, stands his ground. Pretty much just does. Sergi Canos pretty much runs into him. But in the end, right decision there. Referee gives that as a free kick. And maybe a chance now for Brentford from the free kick to maybe make it 2-0. And it's a very good position on the left wing. Going to be whipped into the box by Matthias Jensen. Could this be a perfect free kick? As Winvow's in the building. How are you doing, my friend? He says, Toney scored. He did indeed, as we got a free kick. Jensen whips it into the box. Comes towards the near post. And in the end, I think it was Vitaly Janelt who was running onto the ball there. And his run was just a little bit too slow. And the ball goes out of play for a goal kick. But that ball from Sergi Canos, absolutely brilliant pass. The weight of the ball was pitch perfect. And he saw that and Burma was on the move. Ball was lobbed in, and of course Freddie Woodman, already out of his goal, has to come out, makes the tackle, and then in the end, of course, the penalty's given away. And a good start for Brentford, a very, very good start indeed. As looking at what you guys have been saying in the chat, keep the comments coming. Das thinks they're using VAR. I don't know. We'll have to see whether or not. I don't know. Did they use VAR last time? Can't remember off the top of my head. Chris saying if Brentford go up, I think they could have a similar season like Leeds. I think they could. I agree with you. If they can keep the players. Winvow saying he wants the Swans to win. We'll have to see, of course. 1-0 down. Got a lot of work to do at the end of the day. With how this game has panned out so far. And then Chris said if Brentford go up, them and Watford have best chance of staying up out of the 3 teams. I would disagree and probably say Norwich and Brentford are probably the 2. I think Watford have got an alright side, but not the best. I think if Norwich can keep a lot of their players, Aarons, Pookie, I think they're going to lose Buendia, Cantwell. I think Norwich have got a very good chance of staying up. A very good chance, because what Norwich did with their side is they just didn't really let any of their players go. So the squad that they had in the Premier League last year, they've pretty much got that now. And I think, realistically speaking, that team, with a few more additions, would be good enough to stay up. I think Brentford, if they could keep Toney and a few of their other players, I think a few additions to their side, they'd be a very good team to come up against in the Premier League because of the way that they attack and the way that they're set up to play. They're a brilliant side to watch. If Swansea were to go up, I think they'd struggle. They'd have to make a lot of signings. I think it's an okay team, but needs a few additions here and there. And then, as I said, for me, Watford, because they lost a lot of their players, I think there's a few decent players of good Premier League quality, but I also think there's a lot of work for them to do, which they will spend money, because they've got money, Watford. And maybe they'll probably have more money than some of the other sides. As it's really cagey, isn't it? This first 15 minutes, a lot of tension in the air. Swansea gone in really feisty in this first 15 minutes. And, of course, Chris Kavanagh just keeping the cards close to his pocket. We've only had 1 yet, but you could argue we could have easily had 2 or 3 yellow cards already for the away side. And Brentford, who are just trying to keep calm and composed, are doing exactly that right now in very fine fashion indeed. But throw-in's been taken, tried to loft it towards the path of Marcondes, who made the marauding run forward, but the throw-in just a little bit too heavy in the end there. But looking at what you guys have been saying in the chat, Michael Brown saying Rotherham were handed a bad deck of cards, having to play so many catch-up games towards the running. Agree with you. Having to play 3 matches in the space of a week did not give Rotherham time to recover. I hope Rotherham can keep hold of your manager. He's staying. He's definitely staying, Michael. I think we said at the end of the season he's on for another year minimum, so good to see that he is staying there. Chris saying 10 years ago, Carlisle beat Brentford 1-0 to win EFL Trophy. 10 years later, Brentford on the verge of promotion to the Premier League. Just mad. It's crazy, isn't it? You look 10 years ago, you'll see teams like Sheffield United, Bournemouth, Brentford, who were down in the lower divisions of football. Swansea, another example of a team that have been there, done that. And credit to them. These two are brilliant sides that are well run, well organised, and if let's say Swansea don't make it this year, I think we will see Swansea again in the Premier League in the next year or two. I really do. I think they've got a fantastic team. And they always, whenever a manager leaves, they always seem to find somebody good enough to steer the ship in the right direction. And I think credit to Steve Cooper. He's done a fantastic job over the last 2 years since he's come in. And to get to a playoff semi-final twice in the space of 2 years, I think is quite impressive, considering Swansea's team. I think there's a lot of other teams in the Championship of a similar nature, similar degree, that could make the playoffs. I think Reading Middlesbrough, Cardiff, just to name a few of the sides. So real credit to Swansea, because I think they're a really, really good run side. Winvow saying Buendia leaving Norwich now. Yeah, it's a tough one with Buendia, Winvow, because there's a part of me that feels like he could go somewhere, but I actually think it would be better for him to stay at Norwich and have another season there, because we saw last year the creativity he had in the Premier League. I think it was something like he was the most creative player in the Premier League the previous season. He's such a good player that I really do think in the next year or two he will be playing for a top European side. But we've got a free kick here for Swansea. Ball's going to be lofted into the box by Connor Roberts. And Ivan Toney is the man who heads the ball away. Really simple header that clears the ball away from the away goal. Although Swansea will get a throw in a decent position. And just maybe they're going to have to try and make something here in this first 20 minutes. Because so far, they've not really had much to do in the game. Carl said, heard UEFA may consider scrapping the away goals rule. I don't like that. Really annoys me that. But Andre Ayew, inside the box, he's gone down. Referee's not going to give that as a penalty. Now there's a chance here for him to break. And it's Brian and Burmo. It's a 2-on-2. And Burmo's going to keep going forward. And Burmo still going at the edge of the box. Plays the ball into the path of, I think it's Roslev. Tries to get it towards Ivan Toney. In there, and Marcondes! It's 2-0 Brentford! And they are rocking in this playoff final. And just like that, Swansea are 2-0 down from the counter-attack. And the man who's been on the sub-bench for so long this season becomes one of the heroes in the playoff final. 2-0 to Brentford. And Swansea do not look comfortable whatsoever in this match. And they have got some work to do, because that is brilliant counter-attacking football from Brentford. It all comes from the shout for the penalty from Andre Ayew. They very quickly get the ball up the pitch after the fact that the referee didn't, of course, call for a penalty. And then they go at the other end of the pitch, and Burma does so well to push up the pitch. He feeds the ball to Yaroslav, who plays the ball into the path of Emiliano Marcondes, who's at the near post. You can see his run. Really good work from Yaroslav. And it's a very, very simple finish in the end. And Brentford, after 20 minutes, are 2-0 up in this final and looking in cruise control of this game. And they are not making any errors like they did last season. And you can see the reaction from Thomas Frank. He knows how important of a goal that could be in terms of the complexion of the game. As for Steve Cooper, he's got some work to do, because they do not look good at all, Swansea. Unbelievable. Absolutely brilliant start for the home side, as they might try and get a third goal in this game. As they come forward, it's Ivan Toney, goes for the volley. Oh! Ivan Toney's in the post from the volley! Oh my God! What a shot that was! I thought we'd just seen one of the best championship goals in a playoff final. And it ricochets off the outside of the post. What a chance. And well, we've got to take a breather, because the yellow card's going to come out here for Brentford. What a goal that would have been. Oh my Lord. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. We've got to see that chance again. And it was a chance. The ball just bobbles. He takes a touch, Ivan Toney. He takes it on the volley from the outside of the box. It's dipping. It hits the top of the post and just ricochets out. And you think any more dip to bring the ball down, and that would have been an absolute firecracker of a goal. And, well, I've got to say, Swansea are very fortunate that they're not 3-0 down, as Marcondes has gone into the book as well. And Chris saying Brentford at their best, breathtaking. My favourite team from Championship for a reason. Completely agree with you on that one. And then Carl saying, looks like my prediction may not be that interesting now. Well, might be 3-0 before you know it. Welcome to the stream, Original Gunner. How are we doing? Hope you're good. Welcome along, mate. Chris saying, just nearly done away Marl after that Toney volley. What a chance, though. Gives me flashbacks to Alex Ravel in the playoff final a few years ago for Rotherham. Here comes Swansea, though. Chance flicked into the box, and, well, Connor Roberts' flick is really poor in the end. It goes out of play for a goal kick, and that kind of sums up how poor of a start it's been for Swansea here. Is this the season where Brentford finally go up? They've been in 9 playoff seasons. They've made 4 finals, and they've never gone up in the finals. In terms of the second-tier playoff finals, in terms of teams that have scored first, out of 30 games where teams have scored first in a championship playoff final, only 6 of them have ever gone on to lose the match. 24 have gone on to win, so that kind of gives you a rough idea to how the playoff final usually pans out. But what a start. What a start. Let's not forget as well, the last time Swansea were in a playoff final, they did concede 2. They scored 4 against Reading, so they're going to have to do something similar today. They're going to come forward here. Here's Cal Norton on the ball, one of the veterans of the team. Been at Swansea for a long, long time. And he'll be hoping he can get them back to the Premier League again. Here's Jamal Lowe. Going to play the ball into Bidwell, who's playing in the left-back position, has been for a large part of this season. Back to Lowe again, who tries to take on his man. Calls for a free kick. And the referee doesn't give it in the end. Does it ask any idea where Mardle was last night? Yes, genuinely does. After the 1:20 checkout from Jose de Souza, he lost his voice. Which is why he wasn't at the final yesterday, and Devon Peterson was. So, yeah, he lost his voice. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to cover the actual final. So, sadly, we didn't have Wayne Mardle last night. But, I mean, Devon Peterson, we know him very well here on the Sports Corner. Did a brilliant job. We absolutely love Devon Peterson. Hopefully one day he'll be in the Premier League as well. But, yeah, he covered it last night because Wayne Mardle had lost his voice. Michael says, is it just Rotherham matches you cover? Or, like this playoff match, do you cover other matches? We cover a whole host of other matches, Michael. We cover a lot of leagues. We cover a lot of the European leagues. We try to cover the Championship, League 1, League 2 when we can. So this season, the Championship, we covered, of course, a lot of the Rotherham games, as you would expect, but we covered a few other ones as well. So we're covering all the playoff finals this week, as there's a chance here for Swansea. Ball flicked in, and it's going to be, I think, a throw-in for Swansea, just towards the corner flag. And they're going to need to get something in fairly quickly, you feel, here. As Infinity Football's in the stream. How are you, my friend? He says, hi, Josh, loving Brentford's play. They've been brilliant so far. Here's Cal Norton, though. We'll try and flick a ball into the box. What can he do here? The veteran fullback plays it into the path of Grimes. Now Andre Ayew into Fulton. Tries to get it into the path of Connor Roberts inside the box. It doesn't get to him in the end. There's a bit of a tussle here at the edge of the Swansea attacking half to try and get the ball back. As Shane's in the building now doing Shane, he says, would that Toney effort off the bar have been the best goal at the new Wembley had it have gone in? I mean, I'm always going to say for me, as a Rotherham fan, Alex Ravel's volley at Wembley will probably be one of the best goals I think I've ever seen at Wembley. But that's me being biased. But I do think it was a very, very good chance that had it have gone in, I would have probably lost my voice. So, yes, I think it was a very good effort indeed. And then just have a look as well, see what you guys have been saying. Chris saying, if Swansea lose, they can take the pain of missing out into next season. Like Brentford did this season. And I do agree with you on that. I think as a Swansea fan, to be honest, I think a lot of them, now they're in the final, they hope that they can go and win it. But Brentford were always the favourites to go and win it, in my opinion. And the bookies, of course, were backing Brentford as well to go and win the playoffs, as you would expect. So personally, for me, I do think, realistically speaking, that I think Swansea next season, yes, if they can go out there and, get themselves into a position where they can, bounce back next season, then I think Swansea could take that and use that to their advantage. But we'll have to see. Still a long way to go in this game. And a free kick here for Brentford in a very similar position to the free kick that was given about 10 minutes ago, just outside of the box on the left wing. And it is Sergi Canos who's gone down, and he's been through the wars in the first 25-30 minutes. A lot of tackles going in on the Spaniard. And again, he goes down. As Original Gunner says, I feel Brentford will do quite well in the Premier League next season. I think they've got a good chance. I think if they keep hold of Toney, make the right additions, and play the way that they have in the Championship, I really do think they've got a good chance to do well next season. And for me, Brentford Leeds would be a very good game because they've got two brilliant managers with very organised, fluid systems, which I will talk about in a second because the free kick is going to be taken. So, Burma on the free kick, flicks it into the box, gets towards Pinnock, And in the end, Swansea doing much better to clear the lines. Comes back to Pinnock, who's gone down. And this time it will actually be a free kick for Swansea and not a penalty for Brentford and a chance for the away side. Just have a little bit of a breather here. 25 minutes have gone. They've not really had many opportunities in this game to go out there and do something. And you just feel that, they need to get something fairly soon. Get the ball going in the next 15 minutes. Get a goal before half-time. And it makes it a much more interesting affair going into the second half. But Benala's saying, very good perspective. Brentford did well last season and held it in them to get there. And then he said, boy, these Swansea tackles, very, very feisty. Very feisty fouls. As I said, I'm surprised the referee's not brought out a few more yellow cards. But I think he's obviously trying to make sure that the game flows. And not too many players are on a booking after half an hour. Because I think we could have had at least 3 or 4 Swansea players with a yellow card. Depending on what the referees are like. I think some referees would have probably given the bookings out. But here comes Swansea. It's going to be Cal Norton on the ball, driving forward. Really need to get something here, Swansea. Into Fulton. Back to Norton again on the right wing. Higgs Guehi. Gets it to Andre. And Andre Ayew's got themselves a free kick here. And maybe an opportunity to try and get something from the set piece. As the referee gets the free kick and the wall ready to be all sorted out to take that free kick in just a moment's time. And, well, Swansea actually wanted to take it very quickly. But the referee's pulled it back. And referee wasn't ready for it. Original Gunner saying Toney needs to show up to in the Premier League. Can't be another Pookie, in my opinion. I mean, that was the thing, wasn't it, with Pookie? It was like the first 5 games he played well, and then he just vanished. He can't do that next season for Norwich. If Pookie turns up next season, then that's why I feel like they've got a good chance of staying up Norwich, because Pookie's goals will be key. 456 saying, I'm from Japan, I like England, and I like Vardy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining us. Free kick lofted into the box by Swansea. It was Conor Hurrihan who whipped it, and it was Ivan Toney who headed it straight out of the box. And the goal scorer turned into defender. Ball hoof long, trying to get towards Andre Ayew. Doesn't come to anyone in the end. And it was Mbeumo up against Cabango. And Mbeumo calling for the referee to give a free kick there, but I think Cabango did really well there to get the ball. And I think referee's done right there, Kavanagh, to not give that as a free kick. So play will continue. Daz saying, how far do you think we'll go in the Euros, Josh? It's a very hard one to call, but there's a chance here, and there might be through on goal. Really good opportunity. Conor Roberts trying to flick the ball, but even better defending from Pontus Jansson, who's just able to get a touch on the ball and just make sure Swansea don't get in on goal. But for a second there, they were caught out, but there's a bit of a fight going on here. Canos and Fulton just having a little bit of a scrap. Chris Kavanagh just obviously talking to both players here, trying to calm them down. We're only half an hour into this game, and it's a very feisty one, but tensions are rising as the desperation continues to build for Swansea to get a goal back in this match. Brentford 2-0 up in this playoff final. First goal coming from Ivan Toney from the penalty spot after a penalty was given on Mbeumo. Second goal came from Emiliano Marcondes after a counter-attacking goal, which all started from a Swansea penalty shout. But Swansea need to create something soon. Here's Andre Ayew on the wing, trying to get a ball into the box. Good defending in the end by Ethan Pinnock, as Brentford pass around the back and are just so comfortably able to clear the ball with no pressure from Swansea. Here's Fulton, though. Hurrihan gets the ball, and that's the first corner of the game, and it'll go to Swansea. And, well, they're going to have to make the most of set pieces today, you feel, because right now, when it comes to actual play from outside of the box, there's not much going on. But just seeing the reaction there a moment ago, the occasion, of course, building up, Sergi Canos just getting himself into a bit of a spat there with Grimes. I think Grimes holding Canos by the neck, but not properly. He's just kind of just slightly grazed his neck. Little bit of tensions arising, as I said, but corner's going to be lofted in for Swansea. Actually, it goes all the way to David Raya, who punches it out. Ball will go back in again by Conor Hurrihan. It comes off the head of Brian Mbeumo and goes out for a throw-in. It's taken quickly. Ball lofted into the box. Andre Ayew tries to go for the back heel, and might be another chance for it to be lobbed in here. Roberts flicks the ball into the box. Andre Ayew gets a touch in, and header away. Another corner for Swansea. And the pressure is just beginning to build a little bit here now on the home side. They've got that 2-goal advantage. And a second corner here of the game. What can Swansea do here? Putting all sorts of pressure now on Brentford with the set pieces, which might be the way that they have to go about it in this game if they want to get anything. Although Chris Kavanagh's just going to stop things for a second here. I think a little bit of an argument going on between Connor Roberts and Pontus Jansson. Kavanagh just stops it. And I think here, we are going to have that free corner taken. Sorry, not the free kick. So corner lofted into the box. Comes towards the near post. And David Raya is comfortably down to save the bent whipped in. I've had an absolute nightmare. Whipped in cross is the word I wanted to say. Couldn't get it out there, but yeah, the cross in the end. Both times going into the hands of David Raya. How are we doing? I'm fuming. Welcome along to the stream. Says hello, guys. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day yourself. Very good start to this game. Although I couldn't get my words out for a second. Tristan saying if Toney leaves, who is he good enough for and who should he join? I think he'd be good enough for a Leeds. I think he'd be good enough for a Wolves. I think Wolves could do with someone like him. Obviously Villa don't need a striker anymore, but hadn't they got Watkins, then I would have said Toney would have been someone fairly good for them. I think there's a lot of teams in that middle section league, Palace, who could do with a striker of Toney's quality. But I don't think many of them actually need him because they've got enough depth in that position anyway. Chris saying, if England win group, we face one of Germany, France, Portugal. If that's the case, we may as well forfeit the game. No chance against them three. Who do we face, Chris, if we finish second? Because is this going to be the second tournament in a row where we try and finish second so we don't have to finish top? Because technically, if Croatia finish top, there's a good chance we might have a repeat of the World Cup final with Croatia-France. We'll have to see. And then Logan's in the building. Now we're doing Logan. He says, hi, mate. Back from last night's stream. Great game this is. Yeah, it's been a fantastic game so far, hasn't it? Really good start in this first 35 minutes. As you would expect. I just need one corner from Brentford in the next 10 minutes. So if they could get me a corner in the next 10 minutes, Brentford, that would do me some good. Thank you very much. Chris saying, I'll be happy with quarterfinals. Personally, at least it's progress from last Euros. Less about better. Yeah, true. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think any progress is good progress for England, isn't it, really? You know, we want to try and see if we can get to the back end of the competition. But it's always going to be tough, isn't it, to make those positions. But we're just seeing now Wayne Routledge on the bench today. 305 appearances for Swansea. Signed in 2011. Been there for 10 years. The longest serving player at Swansea. Ruled out today because of an injury, which is a shame. Because his first playoff final, and his only one, was back, I believe, in 2008, 2009. And I'll tell you something. With how old Wayne Routledge is, he looks very good for his age. Looks very good for his age. So 10 minutes left of this game. 2-0 as it stands to Brentford. Swansea just trying to pile on the pressure in this game. Here's Jamal Lowe coming forward. Tries to take on 4 Brentford defenders. But doesn't get past them in the end. And Swansea just really struggling to break down this Brentford defence right now. Very compact. Very organised. And Swansea, when it comes to open play, really struggling to break down this very astutely organised home side. As Logan says, I'd like to thank you for all the responses from last night's stream. It was a great night. It was a fantastic night, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, Logan. Very good night of darts. One of the more enjoyable semi-final finals nights, I think. The first game set the tone for the night, I feel, with the Michael Van Gerwen, Johnny Clayton game. I thought that was an absolute belter of a match with the way that one panned out. And then Chris says, if second, we face one of Spain, Poland, Sweden, or Slovakia. So realistically, let's finish second, and then we probably face up against Poland or Sweden. I mean, England v Sweden again would be quite fun. Although saying that, there's no Ibrahimovic, which is a shame. I would have really loved to have seen Sweden in the Euros. Chance here, though. Hurihan, from outside of the box, takes on the effort. It's deflected in the end. And Swansea will get the ball back. 10 minutes left in this match to try and get themselves a goal before half-time. Can they do it? Ball lofted long. And he goes out of play for a goal kick. And Brentford, who are quite happy and with a very comfortable lead, will not be worried one bit at every chance which goes out of play. But Infinity Football's asked, will you be covering the UCL final today? Yes, we will be. Big finals week. We've got a lot of action to come over the week. I've got the Championship final. Of course, we're watching that now. We've got the League One playoff final tomorrow. We've got the League Two playoff final on Bank Holiday Monday. And then, of course, tonight, we've got the Champions League final. It's going to be with myself, KL, and Rowan. Potentially, maybe with Will. Have to see whether or not he can join us. But for now, there's 3 of us for it. We'll be live about 5 minutes before kickoff for all of that. So looking forward to it. Should be a good weekend of finals action. Because then after that, we're going to take probably a week's break. And then the Euros are on our way. Cannot wait for that. There's going to be some absolute belters to cover when we get to the Euros. Really, really excited for it. Going to be such a good competition. And I'm very excited for it. As we are, I believe... Are we going to get a corner for Brentford? Yes, we are. So there's the corners, which means I believe my bet continues on into the second half now. I was getting a little bit worried because I thought for a second we weren't actually going to get a corner, but we have. And we're going to get that corner now, which is going to be whipped in. And a chance maybe here for Brentford to make it 3-0 before half-time. Ball's lofted in by Dalsgaard. Comes towards Ivan Toney. Hit well on the volley, calls for a handball, but the referee has actually, I think, called it back for a free kick for a push in the box before the handball. I'm going to see, of course, on the replay there to see what happened. And let's have a look here and see what went on. It was Vitaly Yanelt with the volley. And, well, it were calls for a handball, but I actually think, yeah, the referee's right. Chris Kavanagh, yeah. Ivan Toney, a high foot, I think, strikes Guehi on the head. Or very slightly grazes. And I think that's the right decision from the referee. So, yeah, good refereeing from Chris Kavanagh so far to give that as a free kick for Swansea. Of course, a lot of players there shouting for that to be a penalty. But I think when you actually look at the phase of play, that's right. But there's a mistake at the back here. And Burmo's in. He takes on the shot. And oh, he's just fumbled the opportunity. And Mark Gehi just becomes the most relieved man in Wembley. It's suicidal from Mark Gehi. He tries to head the ball back, I think. I don't know who he's trying to head it back to. But in the end, Burmo, who's there, ready, primed and waiting to take on the chance, very nearly had a really good opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net and probably kill off the game. And Mark Gehi is a very lucky man. A very lucky man. And finds himself in a position where somehow his side haven't given a goal away. But here comes Swansea on the attack. Really need Andre Ayew to have a shot on target. And my cash out will get very interesting. Michael Brown's asked, will he be covering every match that is played in the Euros? We're going to try and cover as many as we possibly can. I think the original aim was we were going to try and cover every game at the Euros. But the way it might work is we cover one game minimum a day. So some days we might have 1. Some days we might have 2. Some days we might have all 3. So basically, I would recommend sticking about. Follow our social media. For those of you that haven't already, our Twitter, as you can see on the screen, is at @the_top corner. That is the best place to find out when we go live. Links in the description as always. But we are going to try and cover as many Euros matches as we possibly can. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm not doing much over the summer. It's a very quiet summer for me. So I will probably be trying to cover as many as I can possibly do before I just get absolutely worn out. So I think there'll be a lot of games we will be covering over the summer. So really excited for it. Of course, first game, Turkey-Italy. But we are going to have about, I think it'll be about a week, maybe 2 weeks break, where there won't be much on the channel. There might be the odd watch-along here and there, maybe F1 and things like that. But in terms of the football content, of course, we've got international friendlies next week, which I don't really care about, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm not really going to be watching them or covering them on the channel. And then there are the odd play-off, play-out fixtures across Europe, which might get covered. But apart from that, I think it's a good chance for us to have a quick break, replenish ourselves, and then get ready for what is going to be a very heavy summer of non-stop action, which I really can't wait for. Very excited for it. And, of course, we're going to do it all again next year with the World Cup as well, so even better. As we are down to the last 2.5 minutes here of the first half. And I'll tell you something. If you're Steve Cooper at half-time, I would be absolutely fuming with how they've performed so far. Really don't feel like they've played very well in this game at all. And I mean, Weiro, welcome to the stream. Hope I've pronounced your name correct, my friend. He says, Guehi needs to step up. And I agree with you. I think everybody needs to step up right now because it's just not been a good game whatsoever for Swansea. Infinity Football saying, hi Josh, my uncle left Villa yesterday. Where do you think he's off to? You'll have to tell me, Infinity Football. You've got the scoop, potentially. And then Chris saying he had time there, wasted his chance to kill the game off, which I agree with you. I do think he should have probably had that in the back of the net. You know, if that was 3-0, we'd have probably been saying game, set and match at half-time. But there's a chance now for Swansea to come forward. Here's Conor Hurrihan, who, of course, was a former Villa player. Has played in quite a few playoff finals in recent history. And just Swansea down the left. Back to Hurrihan again. What can the Irish midfielder do? The answer is not much. Ball actually somehow lands at the feet of Jamal Lowe. Very lucky that he's got the ball back there. That's who we got next week, Josh. In terms of watch-alongs, I don't think there's really any planned right now. I think there's not actually much going on. So it'll be a very quiet week on the channel. I'll have a look and see what games are on. If there's any big games, then maybe there might be a certain case where there's 1 or 2 watch-alongs. But it probably will just be a week for us to sit back and relax. How are we doing, Ryan? Hope you're all good, my friend. Long time no see. Hope you're all well as always. He says, I didn't expect this scoreline at half-time. Same here. I didn't expect it to be 2-0 to Brentford. I think they played really, really well in this game. He has asked as well, Ryan. He says, do you think Swansea will be able to come back? With the way that they're playing here, no. If they can get a goal from this free kick with this they've just got now, makes the second half very interesting. But with the way that they're playing in this first 45, I really don't think they can. I think they've looked really poor up top. And as Weira's just put in the chat, Swansea lack a goal-getter. They had that with the likes of Boney and Tammy Abraham, and I agree with you. Just, they don't seem to have that goal, that poacher up top. Free kick's lofted in. And in the end, it's gone over. I think Andre Ayew might have just got a slight touch on the ball. Just going to see it now from the replay. So it's Hurrihan who whips the ball in. And Andre Ayew does get a touch, but in the end, the ball, it does go over the bar. And out of play for a goal kick as we go into 2 minutes of additional time in this first half. Is there any more opportunities here for Swansea before half-time? Or will Brentford be going in with that 2-goal advantage? Chris saying, be interested in how the English League schedule will work during World Cup when it's in the winter. Very true. I think it'll be very interesting, that, won't it? A Christmas World Cup. Going to be a weird one, that one. And then Malcolm Brown says, what are your thoughts that FIFA are considering having the World Cup every 2 years? That vote will be put to FIFA members' nations quite soon, I believe. I don't like it. I think I do and I don't. I think I like the fact that there'll be more World Cups, but then I don't like it because the World Cup is always something where, because it is, every 4 years, there is always the anticipation for it. I mean, even with every 2 years, I still think there'll be anticipation for it. But I think I like the fact that even 4 years on from the 2018 World Cup, we are still sat here today talking about Trippier's free kick like it was last week. And that's what I like about the World Cup and the fact that it is over long periods of time. And I do feel that this year's Euros feels like a World Cup. And that's because of COVID, because we didn't have the Euros last year, because we've had to wait longer for it. I do feel like this has got a bit of a World Cup vibe to it. The fact that people are going to be able to go out and watch the games, and we've actually got matches going on in stadiums with fans. I feel like this Euros will probably be one of the biggest Euros we've ever had. Not just for England, but for all the countries, because they've all probably been waiting for this for quite a long time. So I do feel like it's going to be an incredible atmosphere. As the referee has blown the whistle for half-time, and if you are a Brentford fan, you are 45 minutes away from the Premier League dream becoming reality. And what a first 45 minutes it was. It all started off in the early sections of the match when Brian Mbeumo got himself a penalty from a Freddie Woodman foul. It was the right decision for Chris Kavanagh to give. And in the end, the penalty was given, which Ivan Toney put the ball into the back of the net to make it 1-0. The second goal came from a Swansea penalty shout, which the referee didn't give. It turned out to be a counter-attack in the end, which eventually led to Emiliano Marcondes putting the ball in the back of the net to make it 2-0 on the, I'm saying on the night, in the afternoon. And in the end, at half-time, Brentford have a 2-0 lead. They could have had more, including that unbelievable volley from outside of the box from Ivan Toney. But in the end, Brentford have got a 2-0 lead. Swansea haven't looked really good in this game. They've not really got much going in the match. Set pieces and corners have been the way for them to try and get something in this game. But at half-time in this match, Brentford find themselves 2-0 down. And let's not forget, their last playoff final, they did concede 2 goals. They've got all the work to do. And I will tell you something, they're going to have to do something special if they want to get back into this match. They haven't had any shots on target in the game whatsoever, and it's been a fairly quiet first half. If you're a Swansea fan, you'd be very disappointed with it. Do tell us your thoughts and opinions in the chat. We'll talk through, of course, the benches and things like that at half-time, well, in a few moments' time while half-time is going on. But with what we were saying before about the World Cup, you guys have been adding to it. Ryan saying, to add to that about the World Cup, technically we do have a World Cup every 2 years with the Women's and the Women's World Cup, which is very true. You know, you're not wrong with that. And I feel like maybe that is a bit of a discredit to the Women's World Cup. You know, if you were to put the men's one every 2 years, then I feel that could be a little bit disrespectful to the women's side of the game, which, you know, let's not forget, the Women's World Cup was arguably one of the biggest World Cups women's football has ever had, the last one. You know, I think it had record numbers for viewers, record numbers for fans, and it was a real good moment, I think, a feel-good moment for women's football. And I think if they were to do it where men's World Cup was every 2 years, maybe it is a little bit of a discredit to the women's one, because obviously the focus would probably be on the men's a little bit more because of the higher viewing figures, the sponsorship deals, the money involved, which Michael has said perfectly in the chat. Money is at the heart of it. That's why FIFA are looking at having the World Cup every 2 years. The World Cup is a money-spinning tournament with sponsorship and advertising. Same can be said about the Conference League being added. That's a new money spinner to make more cash. The Premier League is looking at a mid-winter break for the 2022 World Cup, which he's got to have, because at the end of the day, you can't send players to the World Cup after playing God knows how many games without having a break at the least to get themselves ready for it. Logan saying, I think if the World Cup was 2 years, imagine the amount of international breaks across the year. And if you were to fit Euros 1 year and World Cup 1 year later, how cramped would the qualifiers be? Which is a very good point again. You know, would they then have to change up the way that teams qualify? Because then you couldn't have so many qualifiers. Because as you said, then we'd just have too many games going on in the background. It would just be absolutely mental. And realistically, we've already got enough games going on as it is. You know, if you're one of those Conference League sides, there's going to be now even more games added. The Champions League, they want to add more games. You know, they're looking at having that like 10 group format in the future. It's money, isn't it? Money talks at the end of the day. It's always a money talking factor. But I want to say as well, at half time, if you are new to the stream, don't forget to leave a like and a subscription on the channel if you are new and you have enjoyed the watch along. I want to say a big massive thank you to you all, because we have reached 2,200 subscribers. So thank you to all of you guys that have subbed. Of course, we had a lot of new subscribers with the darts yesterday. We've had a few new subscribers today. So a massive thank you to all of you guys that have left a subscription. It is greatly appreciated for all of the subs. It's not just me on the channel, don't you worry. I know you're probably sick of seeing me after the last few nights, but don't forget you can join us for more action on this finals weekend on the Sports Corner. We've got the second half of Brentford v Swansea. That's to come in the next few minutes. And then later on tonight, you can join myself, Kale and Rowan from 10 to 8 for the Champions League final. Manchester City taking on Chelsea. What a game that's going to be. Tomorrow, Blackpool taking on Lincoln in the League One playoff final. I think I might be covering that one as well. And then Bank Holiday Monday sees Morecambe taking on Newport County at 2:55. What a game that one's going to be. Let's not forget Newport County. Absolutely crazy, isn't it? Newport County, that second leg they had a few nights ago in their semi-final against Forest Green. What a game this has been, though. 2-0 at half-time. Potential chance for an absolute thunderbolt of a goal as well in the playoff final for Ivan Toney. But, I mean, what a game it's been. Brentford have, for me, dominated this game in terms of the chances. I don't think there's been many opportunities that Swansea can talk about where they could have had a goal. In fact, I wouldn't say they've had any opportunities in this game where they could talk about having a goal. They've been really poor in the final third. I think we were talking about it earlier, and it was the point which was made by Weira at the fact that they haven't got a goal-getter, a striker up top, has been their weakness for a large part of the season, I think. They haven't got someone like a Tammy Abraham or a Wilfred Boney that they used to have in the past who could put the ball in the back of the net quite consistently. I think that's what they're missing today, because Connor Roberts has been really quiet up top. I think Andre Ayew has been really quiet as well, which is not usual for him. He tends to be the one player you expect to go out there and do quite well in a match. And then, of course, Jamal Lowe has had little moments where he's tried to get through on goal, but the Brentford defence have been so reassured at the back, so organised, so compact. It's made it impossible for Swansea to break Brentford down without having to try and make it from set pieces and corners. And that's been their problem. And of course, we're actually looking back at the second goal now. The shout for the penalty from Swansea was really weak. And the lack of numbers that they got back, they got 2 players back in the defence. And it was, of course, Toney and Burmo who were up against them. By the time Yanelt had made the run forward into the box, it was pretty much a guaranteed goal. And then the finish from Marcondes was absolutely brilliant. Slots the ball into the bottom right-hand side of the near post. And it's just a really good finish from one of the players this season that hasn't had a great deal of chances, has he, in the squad? He's been on the bench for the large part. But over the playoffs, he's been very crucial to Brentford's potential success of getting into the Premier League in about 45 minutes' time. But looking at what you guys have been saying with the Euros, Ryan's put in the chat, I remember hearing on a podcast as well, 2 seconds, with the Euros of the World Cup every other year, it would wear out and exhaust a lot of the international players. They need a break from international play. Because yes, it would be nice to see some of the big players every year playing for their country, but as you said, tiredness kicks in, fatigue. They're already playing a hell of a lot of games in a season. Whether you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in European football and you're playing in the Champions League, Europa League, or whether you're a player, for example, who plays international football and you're playing the Championship. You're playing a hell of a lot of games a season that, realistically speaking, it is just so tiring as a footballer to go out there and play an extra, 6-7 international fixtures and then all of the qualifiers on top. It must be very, very tiring, that's for sure. Let's have a look at the benches for both teams. Now, I apologise with the Brentford team. I might have accidentally put Marcondes twice. That's me rushing about, trying to get everything sorted out. But you can see on the Brentford bench, lots of players that could come on and maybe make a difference. Marcus Forss, who scored the all-important winning goal in the playoff semi-final against Bournemouth last week. Godos as well. If Kale's in the building, he'll be absolutely loving that. Godos potentially going to be coming on at some point maybe to try and bag a goal in this game. They've got very good players that could come on at some point and maybe make a difference if needed. However, I think right now for Brentford, they don't realistically need to change anything. I think they've got it pretty much to a T on how they want to play. And the only way I can see changes being made in this match is if by any chance Swansea get a goal in the first 10 to 15 minutes. And that's exactly what Swansea need. They need a goal in the first 10 or 15 minutes to try and get themselves back into this game. Because right now, with how the game has been, they've not been nowhere near good enough. But if they could get the goal in the first 10 to 15 minutes and get themselves to 2-1, I think they've got we've got a very exciting game for the last half an hour, 20 minutes or whatever it is when they get that goal. I'd be really excited to see if that happens, but they've got so much work to do to get that because, to be honest, the thing with Brentford is I can see them scoring before Swansea do, so it's a case of Swansea going to have to really ramp up the pressure. And talk about the pressure, which one of these players can handle it? You can see on the bench a whole host of players for Swansea. They've got Jan Danda, one of the attacking players that could come on. Morgan Whittaker, former Wolves man, I believe. He could come on in midfield, maybe do a job if needed. Cullen as well. They've got Smith, Manning. There's a few players on there that could make a difference. A few defensive players, which I don't think realistically they're going to be bringing on unless they go and win the game or maybe make it 3-2 with 10 minutes left. But I think the game has potential. If Brentford get another one, I think it will be game over. Swansea will lose and it will be Brentford in the Premier League. If they can get a goal in the first 10 to 15 minutes, Swansea, we've got a cracker, I feel, because then Brentford will feel a little bit of pressure to go out there and get another goal just to kill the game off and make sure that they get the win. But what I'm going to do very quickly is read out some of your comments again. Micah Brown's saying they might have to scrap the Nations League, which is a good tournament to add, which allows nations like North Macedonia and Scotland to qualify for tournaments if the World Cup was to be every 2 years, which is a shame because I actually really like the Nations League. I feel like that competition, obviously when it first came up we were all a bit confused about it, but I really like it because I do think it has made games a little bit more competitive. I mean, that first year when we played Spain and we beat them, it felt competitive, and that's the good thing about it. And I like the Nations League, and maybe there's a few people out there that don't and disagree and think it's a crap tournament, but I really like Nations League. Maybe that's just me being weird, but Logan saying, on your point on the Brentford defence, Brenton Janssen of Sweden has been solid for years, especially at Leeds, and replicating his work at Brentford, but I think Ivan Toney is very underrated. I mean, he's been quality today, not just in the attacking side of play. I think there's been a lot of set pieces where he's actually come back and done the defending, and credit to him, because he's done very, very well indeed, and done both sides of the attack and defensive work very, very well indeed. As Kel says, he's in the building, he loves Godos, see if we can score later on. And then Logan says, I think the full-time score will be 3-1 Brentford. What do you think? As long as Swansea get the first goal, just to make it interesting, get that first goal in the first 10 or 15 minutes, I'm fine with that. But I would really like to see the pressure ramp up on Brentford to go out there and get another one, because I think they've got the capabilities to go out there and score a few more if they need to. But, of course, the pressure will continue to build as the game goes on. I'm just going to take a quick break for the moment, though. Literally will be about a minute or two's break. We'll then get back on with the second half of action. So don't go anywhere. The playoff final second half will be on the way very, very shortly. See you in about a minute or two. That'll be the quickest break you think you've probably ever seen. I'm back already, literally very quick indeed. I can't believe I'm seeing on my screen Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I mean, if you were to have said that a few years ago when Logan Paul burst onto the scene on YouTube, would you have ever thought Logan Paul would be actually in a proper boxing match, boxing match? And I said wrestling then. He has actually been in wrestling, hasn't he? Or was it Jake Paul? One of the two, either way. Who would have thought, eh? Who would have thought? But I'm back. We are going to get underway with the second half in literally just about a minute or two time. I think it's been a very good game so far. Hopefully, it continues on in the same way like it did a few moments in the first half, because I thought it was a very, very good first half. Lots of chances for Brentford. But realistically, we want to see it a little bit more even, don't we, in terms of the second half, and at least have a chance or two for Swansea to put the ball into the back of the net. But seeing what you guys have been saying in the chat, thank you for those of you that did stay, of course. Very quick break indeed. Daz has asked me, who would you play on the left-hand side of the defence for us at the Euros? Really good question, actually, Daz. I would have to say, on the left-hand side, I would probably play... I'm just trying to think what left-sided players we brought. We brought Shaw. I would actually probably play Trippier on the left, because he can do it. And... for that other centre-back, I mean, obviously, Tyrone Mings being a left-footed centre-back is good, but he's not going to play. I think it'll be Maguire and Walker as the two centre-backs. I feel it'll be Trent on the right-back position, either Shaw or Trippier on the left-back position. He'll have the two holding midfielders. He'll have Rice and Henderson with either someone like a Grealish in midfield a little bit of creativity in there. Maybe like a Mount, probably Mount. And then up top, it will probably be Sterling left. I'd like to say Sancho on the right, but something tells me Rashford will squeeze it in. And then up top, Harry Kane. That's what I think he'll go for. I mean, but now they're saying Tarkowski and Dunk. Why not take Tarkowski? That'd be brilliant. As Rowan says, he wants 4-2 Brentford final score. Gotta wish goals. Let's have some goals as we get underway with the second half of action. Are we going to be on for an exciting second half in this Championship Playoff Final? Swansea need 2 goals minimum. Away goals do not count, by the way, in these fixtures. So all Swansea need is 2 for extra time and maybe even penalties. Brentford just need to continue in the same vein that they did in the first half, and they will probably find themselves in the Premier League in the next 45 minutes. It should be a firecracker, and Swansea are going to have to go for it, you feel, in the first 10 or 15 minutes just to try and make sure that they can get themselves that all-important early goal in the game. But no changes at half-time on what is a very, very sunny and very warm day at Wembley. And a very warm day here as well. I chose the wrong shirt to put on today, but I will probably have to change up for the Champions League tonight. But Swansea, once again, I'm going to be a little bit behind. So do not spoil everything in the chat. Apologies. I'm not too far behind, but I don't want to see anything spoiled in the chat. Of course, there might be a few other people behind as well that don't want it spoiled. But it will be Swansea who start off on the front foot in the first 60 seconds. I mean, they've got to put the pressure on Brentford here. As I'm just going to very quickly move my legs. It's very warm on this chair. I guess it's not the best chair to sit in on a warm day like this. But ball's been lofted into the box. Ayew probably should have scored. How's he missed that? And Andre Ayew should have probably have made it 2-1. And it was a really good ball. And I think it was Conor Hurrihan with the ball into the box. And it's Andre Ayew. And all he's got to do is get the header pretty much on target, and he just can't get there in the end. Brilliant delivery, and Ayew was a whisker away from an instant opportunity to get this game right back on. I mean, a goal in the first 2 minutes would be perfect for them, but Andre Ayew there just does not get a good enough header anywhere near on goal. It was nowhere near in the end, and that was a big opportunity that I feel like he's wasted there. Logan said, I think Ben Mee's better than Tarkowski personally. And then Infinity Football, sorry, saying Sterling's been trash. I prefer Foden on the left. Yeah, I mean, Foden is a very good shout. I just feel like Southgate's going to pick Sterling. Yeah, not had a great season, has he? Yeah, it's a shame. And then Logan saying, what a start that would have been for Swansea. Would have been a great start for them. I think they should have taken that chance. Kale saying, how are you missing that? Are you Peter in disguise, Kieran? Got a free kick here, though, for Brentford. Surprised Pete's not here today. It'd be his perfect day to get that IU jokes out. Brentford going to take the free kick short. Ball lofted into the box. Comes towards Ivan Toney. Ruslev with a shot from outside the box. And in the end, shot always going high and wide of the mark and out of play for a goal kick. Michael Brown saying, Brentford have a very good recruiting system. When you consider they sold Ollie Watkins to Villa, apologies. Ben Rama on loan to West Ham. Maupay to Brighton. Now everyone's talking about Ivan Toney. They've got a very good system, haven't they, when it comes to attackers. Eventually, you feel like that luck will run out, but then you've also got to give credit to whoever's in the background finding these players, because, you know, there's certain directors out there and scouts that are very notorious for finding good players, like Lille Scout, for example, found some ridiculously good players in the past. You know, found for Lille Osimhen, found Jonathan David, Yazici, Yilmaz, to name a few. So there are very good scouts out there. But long throw being taken here. Cabango's forward. Comes to the edge of the box. Taken on the volley by Bidwell. Comes back to Swansea again. Might be a chance to whip this in here. And the ball might actually go out of play here for a corner. Nope, just kept in play by Emiliano Marcondes, who's done very well to get the ball back. And tries to lead the home side on the counter. But there's no one there to get the ball. And in the end, Swansea will continue to put the pressure on in the early few minutes here. We will have to see whether or not, though, they can get a goal, because it's a very good start, but they've got to make the most of it. Here's Jamal Lowe driving forward at the edge of the box. Might take it on. Jamal Lowe goes for it, and I thought for a second there we were going to be getting a classic Jamal Lowe goal where he cuts in and gets it into the top right or left-hand corner. He goes for the top right, but the ball's always rising high, never dipping towards David Raya's goal. And in the end, he's always going wide of the mark and out of play for a goal kick. Got to be doing better there, Jamal Lowe. Got to do much better. And you'd feel there, look, that first 5 minutes where they got a really good opportunity in the game to capitalise on the pressure that they're putting on Brentford. They need to get something, and fairly soon, in my opinion, or else the doubts will continue to creep in as the game continues on. We'll have to see whether or not they can get something, though, as Swansea look to push forward. Here's Bidwell into Camango. Ball lofted along to Jay Fulton. Here's Cal Norton on the right-hand side. Needs to be a good ball if he's going to whip one in. Doesn't in the end. Here's Fulton. Tries to hit the pass long, and in the end, it's actually gone out of play for a goal kick. Really poor pass from Fulton there. As Tubbs is in the building, he's put Johnny Clayton out in Tubbs. Hope you're good as always, my friend. Hopefully you are good as always. So early stage of the second half, obviously Swansea, as you would expect, putting the pressure on. Brentford now probably will waste a little bit of time with that 2-goal advantage. And then Just Me says, don't forget Metham to Bournemouth as well. I forgot, of course. But hope you're good, Just Me. Welcome along to the stream. Of course, the 6,000 Brentford fans bouncing. Logan saying Christophe Galtier for Monaco signed Mbappe, Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, Bakayoko, and made almost 260 mil from those transfers. Only buying for 30 mil max. Great example. Campos as well, Luis Campos. I think he works for Lille now. He's got a good record of buying players. There's some very, very good scouts out there these days. Marcel Brands used to have a good record before he went to Everton. Shame for him. Probably shouldn't have gone to Everton. And maybe he'd still be a good scout. Or a director of football at the least. And of course Ajax as well have always got a good record in buying high quality players. They never seem to fail on world-class products. But Tubbs says, hello, my Filipino brethren. How's the wife in the building? Yeah, very good so far. No problems whatsoever. I think we're all right. I think we're all good. I think it's been upgraded as well while I've been gone, so even better for me. As Andre Ayew looks to drive forward. Referee's actually brought it back for a free kick. Ayew is not happy with Chris Kavanagh. He thought he got a chance there to get away and maybe have a chance on goal. But just seeing there, yeah, it just pulls down. I think it was Janelt in the end. And Chris Kavanagh does pull it back for the free kick. And I think Ayew there, a little bit disappointed that the referee didn't play on and allow him a chance on goal. But he was the one that gave the free kick away in the end. And a good decision from Kavanagh. As Athanon as well says, Bale, another one. A very good example, of course, of a player from the past. Sigurdsson, of course, another one in the past as well for the big money that they made from him. They've had some good players, haven't they? Technically, when they sold Wilfred Boney to City as well, they've had some good deals over the last few years, Swansea. Logan saying Van der Sar for me is the best director in the world. What do you think on that? Yeah, I'd probably say he's one of the best in there. I can't really name many directors of football because a lot of clubs you don't really get to see many of them, do you? But I think in terms of notoriously known ones, then yes, I would say Edwin van der Sar is probably one of the best out there for being well known. And you know, Ajax are a very open club when it comes to their staff members. You see a lot of the likes of Overmars and Van der Sar working in the background. Probably more in comparison to other clubs. You know, obviously Everton have got a director of football. You don't really see Marcel Brands much. Not anymore at the least. Of course, a lot of it's now is focused on Ancelotti primarily, which is understandable, I guess. But Tubbs says, back to regular programming then. We've got this weekend. A bit of fighting going on here for a second. See what goes on in a second. We've got basically the playoff finals all this weekend. And then we've got a week's break. And then we'll have the Euros. So last weekend of normal football action. And then that will be it. That'll be the last week of league action. As referees just having a talking to. I don't know whether he's going to get the cards out or not. But a bit of a talking to here for Matt Grimes. Who, let's not forget, is already in the book, I believe. Could have been sent off in the first 5 minutes. And I think the referee is just going to give him a last warning. No cards coming out, though, as of yet in the second half. And we'll have to see what's going on. I don't know if it was actually Conor Hurrihan who got him, and it wasn't Grimes, and maybe he's just talking about the reaction there. But it was actually Conor Hurrihan, and there's not really much in it. it was a 50-50 to get the ball, but I don't know if it's something that Matt Grimes has said to the ref, because he pulled him back for a second, and I think there was a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. But Conor Hurrihan, a tackle for me, or at least a 50-50 header where both players have got equal rights to go in for it. Logan says, I'm guessing you'll be doing Scotland-England for the Euros. Yes, we will. That's one of the games we'll definitely be doing. Most of the England games will be covered, if not all of them, to be honest. We'll be covering them, that's for sure. Very excited for it. I guess if it had been a normal year and we could go out and, you know, you got the big screens in the big cities and you could watch it with everyone, I'd probably do that. But, of course, with COVID, that's not going to happen. So, I think there'll be some days where I'll go out to bars and that and probably go and watch matches. But most days we'll try and cover games live on stream because it's just easier and cheaper. But we're going to get a free kick here for Brentford, which is obviously going to be passed back with the drop ball. And Brentford here, with 35 minutes left, are going to probably feel like they're going to be in a very good position to go to the Premier League here. Tubbs has asked what's on for the next few days. So we've got the Champions League final tonight, of course. That's going to be with me, Kale, and Rowan. We're going to have the League One playoff final tomorrow. I think that's with me again. Bank holiday Monday. We've got the League. We've got League One playoff final tomorrow. League Two playoff final is on Monday, and then that's it. I don't think we've got any of the watch-alongs for the next week in terms of football. I'll be taking a break till the Euros, and pretty much I would assume everybody else is going to take a break as well. So, well, there's only really international friendlies going on, and to be honest, I don't really see much point in covering them. I'd rather just wait for the Euros and cover the important tournament. But we've got a free kick here for Swansea. We're only 10 minutes into the second half. Need a goal now. Ball's lofted in, trying to get it towards the path of Connor Roberts, but the ball in the end is a little bit too heavy. And I've got to say, really poor from Swansea. Really, really poor. I think they've started very strongly, but they've not capitalised on the opportunities to go out there and get themselves a goal. They've had 65% possession in the first 10 minutes, and I just feel they need to get something soon, or else this game is going to slightly start going away from them. And I mean, even now the game is away from them. They need 3 goals to win it, but, you know, you get one soon, and it makes it interesting. Here's Horan. Not got many numbers to play the ball to. Calls for a free kick for Conor Hurrihan, who'd gone down. Referee's actually played on, and Brentford are going to come forward here. Nico's asked, who do you want in the Prem, Brentford or Swansea? Brentford for me. Hope you're good, Nico. Who do you want in the Premier League? You'll have to tell us in the chat. Here's Canos. Into Jan Elt. Ball off into the box. And a massive chance for Brian and Burmo. And his reaction tells you everything. It is a gift of a chance. His movement's brilliant, the Frenchman. He's inside the box, and he's in a position where it's a really good opportunity to curl the ball into the top left-hand corner. But he just gets it all wrong. He tries to smash the ball into the back of the net. And in the end, it doesn't come, and it's a real bad chance. Tubbs was asked, how about NBA? I've got no idea. I couldn't possibly tell you. I don't know whether Will's working or not, to whether he's able to do it or not. So we'll, I'll give him a message and see if he wants to do any more NBA games or not. And then Kyle says, who would you say could be the dark horse to win the Euros, if any? I would probably say, as a dark horse, I'd say Netherlands are a dark horse, just because they've not really been in the big competitions over the last few years. And then, well, I was going to say Nico again. He says, oh, it's going to stop for a second, sorry, because Swansea have got a chance here. Ball lofted in, comes towards Jamal Lowe, takes on the shot, and what a brilliant chance it was, but it's not in the back of the net. And it's not an easy chance there for Jamal Lowe, but he doesn't get it in the back of the net. Works really, really hard. A ball flicked in from Cal Norton. Jamal Lowe tries to turn his man, does so well, but in the end, it's a really, really tough shot to take on from the angle. And Nico, is it Nico? Is that how you pronounce it? Nico? I want Brentford, and it's Nico, not Nico. I apologise. Technically, the pronunciation of Nico is Nico here in the UK, but I apologise. Infinity Football says, found this channel during the January transfer deadline day. Glad I found it. One of the best football watch-along channels. Thank you very much indeed. We try our hardest. We try and put the work in for you guys. Brentford are going to come forward here. Half an hour of the game left. Are they going to be able to go and get a winner? I'm saying get a winner. Are they able to get a chance to get back into this game, Swansea, more than anything? As time is running out. Or Nico, I would presume. Yeah, I guess Nico is another pronunciation for it. I guess it depends. Here comes Brentford, though. Jensen at the edge of the box tries to feed a ball towards the path of Marcondes, but the ball is a little bit too heavy. And it's out of play for a throw-in. Nico's asked, are you doing a Champions League watch-along? Yes, we are, Nico. We're going to be doing one tonight. We're going to go live about 10 or 5 minutes before kickoff. So it should be a good stream tonight, hopefully. As we're going to get a change, Cal Norton's coming off. Liam Cullen is coming on. And Cal Norton, who has probably been around at Swansea for as long as I've been born, comes off the pitch. And Liam Cullen comes on for the last half an hour. And I'll tell you something. I actually think Cal Norton played alright today. I think he did alright, but Liam Cullen now, just to bring a little bit of extra pace, as they've got to push for it. Of course, Liam Cullen plays more a bit of a wing-back, probably play more as a winger now. Going to be a little bit further up the pitch as they try and push forward and get a goal in this game, which they're going to need to get fairly quickly here. Here comes Brentford, though. It's going to be Matthias Jensen on the ball. Not really seen much of him today, but we've not really needed to. Here's Yaroslev. Still going forward. Yaroslev tries to get the ball forward, and it's going to be a corner for Brentford as the ball goes out of play for Jake Bidwell. Big moments you feel here. Really need to get something, don't you, Swansea, as the pressure begins to build. The game is just not going Swansea's way right now. They need something soon. Especially if they get something from this corner, Brentford, then surely you'd be feeling like it's game over. Let's see what happens, though. Half an hour on the clock. What's been a brilliant playoff final, is Pontus Janssen slowly walking into the box after getting a drink with an energy bar as well. Let's see what happens here. So Janssen into the box. And Burmo, ball lobbed in towards the near post, comes right across. Chance though, and it comes off the head of one of Brentford's players. It actually comes off Janssen. And Ethan Pinnock, who took on the shot, whacks his fellow defender on the head. And in the end, it doesn't come to anything. We're just seeing it now. It comes off the back of Pontus Janssen, who's gone down. And in the end there, just seeing that chance again, actually comes off his hand. And then he just goes down to the floor. I don't know why he's worried about his head there, but he goes down. And, I mean, there'll be a few players calling for handball there, maybe. I don't think many players saw it. But Janssen's gone down. And there's going to be a little bit of a moment here where there's a break in play, which allows the players obviously to go over and have a quick drinks break. Very warm day today. I think it's about 23 degrees, 24 degrees in Brentford. Sorry, not in Brentford, in Wembley. So very, very warm. But we are going to have a change. And Swansea are going to bring on Jan Dander. And off comes Conor Hurrihan. And well, the former Villa man is not going to be making a difference in this game. So Jan Dander comes off the pitch. And I think there's also been another change as well. No, there wasn't. Just the one change. Jan Dander comes on. Conor Hurrihan is off the pitch. And a big moment for Jan Dander. One of the younger players in the Swansea side. English as well. While Pontus Janssen is just coming off the pitch to get some treatment. We will get back underway with the action. And obviously see whether or not Janssen is going to be able to continue or not. But we're just waiting for now for Janssen to come off the pitch. And then we'll get back on with the action. So here we go. Then we're going to continue now. Jan Dander on the pitch. Janssen off for now. So Brentford down to 10 men for the time being. As we go into the final 25 minutes. For me, there's still enough time for Swansea to get a goal in this game and make it interesting. I think probably the maximum is about the 75th, 80th minute. But then again, score at any time and it makes it interesting. But going to have a long throw in here, which Liam Cullen's going to take. Actually going to play it into, I think, probably going to want to get into Connor Roberts here. He's in the box, ready and lurking. Ball's lobbed in. Headed away by Ethan Pinnock. He's going to come out again. Chance for the ball to be flicked in. And in the end, it's going to be a Swansea corner. Which Connor Roberts will leave, I think, for someone else to take. So a corner here for Swansea and a real potential chance to maybe get himself and Swansea an all-important goal. And it'll be Yandanda who takes it. Ball lobbed into the box towards the near post and the header a little bit too wide. Ethan Pinnock's going to be the first man who gets there. Doesn't get the ball away. And a real mistake there. And a chance here maybe for Swansea to flick the ball into the box. Brilliant work. Jamal Lowe got a chance here. Plays the ball into the box. Comes towards Margay. Out to the edge of the box to Roberts who takes the shot on. Slight deflection. And a massive. That was a real tackle and a half. And it's a red card. It's off. It's a red card. And it gets worse for Swansea because Fulton is off. And surely now, Swansea City's hopes are gone. Red card. And immediately the referee brings the red card out. Fulton is off. Steve Cooper wants to see, obviously, the incident for himself. But a red card. And when you actually look at it, it's an awful tackle. It's an awful tackle. Whether he actually catches the player or not, I don't know. But with the way that he's gone in, it is an awful, awful tackle. It's a dangerous tackle. I think he gets him. He gets him. I do think that the tackling today from Swansea, as Benal's just said, has been very, very bad. But I think that kills Swansea's dreams now. And that will surely be it in terms of Swansea's hopes. Jake Fulton is off with the straight red. And probably deserves straight red, in my opinion. A very nasty one. And whether he wanted to go in with that or not, I don't know. I just think that that's a very, very nasty tackle, and it is a red either way. But Fulton's off. Swansea down to 10 men. As Louis in the building. How are you doing, Louis? Just here to remind everyone, Pookie's still clear of Toney. And Swansea, their day goes from bad to worse because they're now down to 10. They've got to get 2 goals minimum for extra time. And Jay Fulton has had a stinker. And Carl's put, that's game done, I think. 2 goals down and down to 10. Brentford can easily see the game out and maybe score another. And I agree with you. I don't think they're going to get back into it now. And if you're a Swansea fan, the journey home is probably going to be a long one now. With how it's gone. Not been a great day, has it, if you're a Swansea fan? Not been a very good day at all. I mean, I literally need Ayew to have a shot on target and Brentford to get a yellow card, and my bet comes in. So my bet is still riding on Andre Ayew maybe having a chance. But we've got, probably about 25 minutes left, I'd say, including additional time. We're in the 67th minute, but for me, that is a nasty one. Really, really bad tackle. And the Brentford fans, it's the opposite day for them. It's been an absolutely class day for them. And it goes from good to even better. But what can Swansea do now with 10 men? And what has been a really interesting playoff final. That could still have a few twists and turns, but I think probably it's going to be more devastation and disappointment than twists and turns. As Ivan Toney's got a free kick here. And Chaplin just trying to stop Toney from taking it quickly. Referee just going to have a bit of a talking to. I think he's given the free kick back to Brentford again, which he has, yeah. And Tubbs says that name Pookie always cracks me up. You know what Pookie means in Filipino? I don't. You'll have to tell us in the chat, Tubbs. What does Pookie mean? But I mean, Steve Cooper now has got some work to do. What do you do with 20 minutes left? You need 2 goals. And you've got the one less player on the pitch. Going to need a miracle now if you're Swansea. Oh, they're saying that. David Raya very nearly gave the ball away to Andre Ayew. And that would have been a chance and a half, wouldn't it, for Swansea to get something back. But Brentford now just going to hold the ball, hold possession. And with 20 minutes left on the clock, they will surely see out this game now. And be Premier League contenders next season. Here come Brentford, though. They'll be also looking to get a third in this game and kill it off. It's going to be Ethan Pinnock on the left wing. Ball flicked, trying to get it towards Burmo, who's not going to get there in the end. And I guess, I know obviously there's not going to be any more games to play, but I guess if you're Brentford, you probably don't really need to make any other changes right now. You could keep the players on the pitch unless something mad happens. Here comes Swansea, though, trying to get on the track. Ball somehow kept in play by Connor Roberts. And tackle goes in. Referee gives a free kick. And that is going to be a yellow card. I think. Yep, yellow card comes out. And Vitaly Janelt goes into the book. And I just literally now, I believe, I need Andre Ayew to have a shot on target. I think I literally just need Andre Ayew to have a shot on target. And I win my bet. I've got 20 minutes to get that. So Janelt goes into the book. I've just seen what it means in Filipino. So the dream scenario here for me is that the ball flicked in, lands on the head of Andre Ayew, and goes into the back of the net. And I'm a winner, I think. And if you're a Swansea fan, you don't care who this goes to. Free kick lobbed in. Comes towards absolutely no one. And he's cleared away. Really poor there from Swansea. Good opportunity I felt there for him to maybe get something from the free kick. Does absolutely nothing with it. And the whole balance of the game has changed here. The whole complexion of the match has turned on its head. You know, if you're Swansea, you were probably thinking at this stage of the game, you were in a good position with 11 men. The pressure was beginning to build on Brentford. You got a little bit of an opportunity where the ball was going forward and they were pushing in numbers to get that goal to get them back into the match. But now, it's going to be even worse for them. And they're going to have a lot of work to do to get something in this match. I can't believe my cash out is only 26 quid when I only needed Andre Ayew's shot. Very annoying. I think if he doesn't come in, I will cash out at 20 quid and take the money and run. But here come Brentford. Marcondes into Matthias Jensen. Going to flick the ball onto the left-hand side to Vitaly Janelt. What can he do here, Janelt? Ball's been given away. Swansea might be able to push forward here. And Bournemouth's got the ball back. Good work from the Frenchman. Ivan Toney with the tackle. But it turns out, actually, he made the tackle first. And a free kick will be given to Brentford. And maybe a chance here for Brentford to get a third and really add salt to the wounds in this game. As Tubbs disagrees, he says he doesn't think Brentford will stand a chance in the Premier League, which is very interesting. But let's see what happens here. Free kick for Brentford. I've got a feeling that this might be a chance for the ball to go in the back of the net and to end the game once and for all. I mean, they've got some brilliant, brilliant free kick takers. And there are lots of players standing around the ball. Canos, Marcondes, Jensen, Toney, and Burmo are all standing over the ball. Who's going to take it? It looks like Marcondes is the one that wants to take it. And I don't know. I've just got a slight feeling with the way that this game has panned out for Swansea that this is going in the back of the net. He's in a really good position just outside the box, in the middle of the pitch, perfect position. And what a way this would be to seal the deal, wouldn't it, if Marcondes was to smash this in. So Marcondes going to step up. Big moment in the game this will be. Can he put the ball in the back of the net? Marcondes. Over the wall and over the goal and out of play for a goal kick. Not far away, but not far away enough for him. Rowan's asked what's the return? 200 quid if it was to come in. But right now the cash out is £26.69. Which is a shame because I literally just need an Andre Ayew shot. So what I'm going to do is if in the next few minutes the cash out goes down, I'm just going to take 20 quid and run, I think. Because I don't think Andre Ayew is going to get a chance at a shot on target, if I'm being honest with you. But here comes Force and Godos. Canos and Janelt coming off for what will be the final time this season. And potentially the final time as a championship player. Here comes Godos, though. Of course, KL will be delighted about Godos coming on. Are we maybe going to see Godos get himself a goal with 15 to 20 minutes left of this match? Can Andre Ayew just get that shot on target? That would be nice. I'm just backing Andre Ayew now for the rest of this game. But I don't think they're going to get it, which is why I'm going to cash out. So free kick for Brentford at the halfway line. As KL is buzzing in the chat, he's put, here he comes. He's on the pitch. He's ready for a 15-minute stint. Probably a little bit more than he was expecting as well. But what can Brentford do here? Free kick given at the halfway line. Brentford quite happy here to just slow things down. And Swansea just find themselves in a position here where they just can't really do much, can they? There's not much left in the tank, I think, for Swansea. The belief will be brimming through the Brentford fans and players. They know that unless there is a detrimental cock-up in the next 15 or so minutes, they are finally ending that torrid curse of playoff disaster. But Swansea have got the ball back. It's lofted long towards Andre Ayew, who doesn't get a touch on the ball. And in the end, Swansea have got the throw-in. It's going to be taken by Roberts. Long throw towards Ayew. Doesn't come to him yet again. And it's just isolation up top now for Swansea. Not really having any chances to get the ball up the pitch. And it's becoming a real struggle for Swansea to get anything. 15 minutes time for a hat-trick, right, KL said. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Is the time for a hat-trick? I don't know. I mean, it is Godos. He could probably get one in 2 minutes. And then Louis Aston has heard it here first. Norwich on a European tour in 2022-2023. Who knows? Who knows? We've seen stranger things in the world of football. But it's all Swansea now. Brentford now, isn't it? They are pretty much stuck in their own half right now. Swansea just don't seem to be able to get the ball up the pitch, and it's becoming a little bit of a struggle, isn't it, here, really, for Swansea to do anything. I guess, is it going to be a case of going long ball? Is it going to be a case of trying to get the set pieces and the things like that? I don't really know, because there's just not much going on in terms of opportunities on goal. But here comes Swansea, though. Might be an opportunity for a potential attack. It's going to be Roberts who gets the ball. Here's Jan Danda, one of the creative players you would expect to try and get something in this game. Really need something. You've got to look to the likes of Jamal Lowe and Andre Ayew. They've not been in this game, for me, much at all in this second half. Here's Jamal Lowe, though. Going to play the ball into the middle. Ball lofted into the box. Doesn't come to anyone in the end, and it's cleared away by Brentford. It'll come back, though, to Matt Grimes, who really needs to get something here. Can they just get themselves an opportunity in the game? Freddie Woodman hoofs the ball long. Comes towards Andre Ayew. He's gone down. And an offside has been given anyway on Andre Ayew, who's just not able to get a touch on the ball and a chance for Swansea. That goes wide. And I'll tell you something. I wonder if this is going to be the last section of Andre Ayew's Swansea career. We were actually looking before this game started a few weeks ago that he is on 80 grand a week, I think, Andre Ayew. He's on double figures, a lot of money. And of course, he's been there for a few years now, trying to get Swansea back up. Had that little stint at West Ham and Fenerbahce. But just ever since then, he hasn't been able to get Swansea up, sadly. And I wonder if there's going to be a few other clubs in Europe calling for him. But there is going to be a chance here, because I've just seen Winston Reid might be getting ready to come on here. As Siddick's in the building. Oh, you're good, Siddick. He's asked, what team do I support? I support Rotherham United. There's Douglas Goodsoul. Wow, that's incredible, that. Watch Brentford in 1946-47. One of the only people in the stadium that can say he watched Brentford in the Premier League. And now he might be watching them go to the Premier League again, and fair play to him. And there's another one as well. Another fan who was there in 1946-47. That's incredible, isn't it? To be there in the top division and to be there again. Incredible. 1947 was the last time they played a game in the Premier Division. 1-0 to Arsenal. And now they might be seeing that dream come to life again. There's going to be a change, though, here. Pontus Jansson's going to be coming off. Emmanuel's asked, will he be streaming the UCL final? Unfortunately, we can't stream it because of copyright, but we are going to be doing a watch-along for it. So if you want to join us for a watch-along tonight, then yes, we're going to do a watch-along for it. But we can't actually show the game live, which is a shame because I would bloody love to. Siddick says he's good. I'm good indeed. He's looking forward to the UCL final tonight. I think we all are very excited for it. Looking forward to it indeed. Going to be very exciting, isn't it, tonight to see all that goes on with the UCL final. But I'm not going to lie. This hasn't been a great game, has it, for Swansea? And it's going to be Brentford who come forward now. Here's Force, one of the substitutes that scored against Bournemouth last week. or a few days ago at the very least, in the semi-final. And it's just plain sailing now for Brentford, isn't it? To get themselves into the Premier League. The dream of Premier League football is slowly but surely coming. Oh, Siddiq's a diehard Chelsea fan. Very best of luck tonight for the game, Siddiq. Bet you're looking forward to it. And then, yeah, as Tubbs says, it'll be me, Roman, and KL tonight for the UCL watch-along. Might be Will. I don't know. KD's not joining us because he's ill. But apart from that, I think it'll just be the three of us tonight. So it'll be a little bit more relaxed and chilled out. But chance here maybe for Ivan Toney to get the ball, go straight into the hands of Freddie Woodman. And with 10 minutes left on the clock now, surely now, they've not had a single shot on target. It's looking like it's going to be game over, isn't it? Well, it was probably game over since the red card was given. But yeah, for me, it's just one of those where it's looking all but over for Steve Cooper. That dream of football in the Premier League is not going to be happening. And that Andre Ayew chance at the beginning of the second half, the header, was probably that one chance which Swansea will be looking back on and thinking, had we have put that away, will this have been a different game? I don't really know if it would have. But I just think that was the best chance that they had. Chance, though, here for Toney to kill it off. And a brilliant, brilliant bit of defending as the ball goes out of play for a corner. And Ivan Toney, who arguably took a little bit too long there. Ball just flicked in towards him from Jensen. He's got loads of time inside the box. Takes a little bit too long, I think, in the end to take the goal a chance on. And in the end there, good block from one of the Swansea players. And Ivan Toney there with another chance to maybe get a second goal in this game. Just doesn't capitalise, and it doesn't come to anything. As they're going to get a corner here, Brentford. Can they make the most of it? Or will they be going... Well, they're going to be winning it anyway, if we're being honest. I'm about to say, could they get a third, or will they be ending the game with two? And I think they'll be fine with that, as we are going to get, I think, a substitution for Swansea in just a moment's time. Just going to see who's on the touchline, of course. I think there were a few calls, actually, for a penalty. Just a little arm on the shoulder there on Ivan Toney. A lot of pulling of the shirt as well. Well, I think Toney was protesting for the penalty more than anything. But referee not giving it in the end. I don't think they think there's much in it to give it as a pen. But realistically, not really much in it there. Ryan Manning's going to come on, though, for Jake Bidwell. As Siddiq says, when we Chelsea were classed as the underdogs, we are dangerous. We even beat City. You beat them twice, didn't you? Beat them in the Premier League and the FA Cup. So, going to be interesting to see whether you can beat them in the UCL. Here's Grimes, though, on the ball. Last chance saloon. Here's Yandanda trying to get a header on the ball. Slight mistake at the back now, and there's a good opportunity here, although Force has slipped. And so unlucky there. And Force, for a second, who did have a little chance to go through on goal, slipped at the most important time and just wasn't able to get a chance on goal. Here's Ayew, though. Tries to get the ball up the pitch, doesn't in the end. And another chance goes wide of the mark. Here's Roslev pushing forward for Brentford. He'll keep going. But in the end, it doesn't come to anything. And he's protesting to the linesman that the decision is wrong, but the linesman's having none of it. And Brentford will just continue on with the rest of the game. As, I mean, Gabriel Studios, if you're going to come in and try, at least make the name largely obvious that it's not what you've put. At least make a least obvious name, because that is not a good attempt at trying to catch someone out. I can clearly see that it says large anus. And I'm going to say it anyway, because we've said worse stuff on stream. But if you're going to make it different, at least make the name not obvious that it says large anus. Make it different. We've had some good ones in the past. One of them caught me out a few months ago. But he's not going to catch me out on that one if it quite blatantly says large anus on it. Tubbs is saying, though, the thing about Pep is he overthinks his tactics during the big game. And everybody was saying there was a video going around, BT had done a interview with him. Oh, shit. I just dropped my controller. Apologies. B2 had done an interview with him. And basically, there was a lot of Chelsea fans worried at the fact that he pretty much kind of sussed out the tactics of Chelsea. But if you think about it, when you actually look at the tactics of Chelsea, they've played him twice now, and he's still not been able to break them down. So, realistically speaking, I wouldn't be worried too much tonight. I'd be interested to see what goes on there. As Bernardo says, Josh is the champ. Come on, lads. You'll love to see it. Free kick here for Swansea. 5 minutes left on the clock. And Pontus Jansson, who has come off, just feeling his legs. And I think he will be not feeling any pain in 5 minutes' time, because he will be one of the players going to be lifting up that EFL Play-Off trophy in a little bit. Carl saying Josh not being fooled today. You know what? It's very rare I ever get fooled. I've been fooled once, and that was just one of the nights where I was completely caught off guard. But I'm not fooled easy. Usually I take a good few seconds to read your comment before I actually read it out. So, ball lobbed into the box and straight into the hands of David Raya, who will comfortably hold that ball into his grasp as we go into the final few minutes. The seconds are slowly ticked down as Andre Ayew just frustrated there with David Raya for taking his time. But at the end of the day, he's got every right to take his time. And a bit of cramp as well, maybe, from David Raya, who's, well, not really had anything to do today, has he? I think he's had 2 corners whipped in that have gone into his hands. That's it. Tubbs saying you ain't getting past my Filipino brethren that easily, chump. You're spot on. Unless I've had a few drinks, then maybe you could. Maybe that's the time. When I've had a few drinks, you can catch me out. But apart from that, on a normal day, I'm very hard to catch out. Going to get a free kick, though, for Swansea here. Halfway line. I tell you, if you're a Swansea fan and you're watching the channel today, do tell us what you think of this game, because I think you've been really poor. Really poor. Like, if I was a Swansea fan, I would be absolutely devastated with how they've played today. They've played awful. For me, right from the start, when the tackles went flying in, there wasn't an ounce of confidence that they could win it. Not an ounce of confidence. No shots on target. No real big chances. It's been so comfortable for Brentford, and fair play to them. They're going to have a long throw-in, though. Going to try and make something from this. I mean, if they could get a goal here, it made things interesting for the final 5. Ball's lofted in. And, well, as you would expect, it's lofted straight out. And might be a chance now for Brentford to break. Comes towards the path of Mbermo. Doesn't get to him in the end. And now, ball lobbed towards Connor Roberts. Jensen having to do some defending here. Goes down. And a free kick's given to Brentford. And you can see the Swansea fans absolutely fuming with the decision from the referee. But it's the right one in the end. As Louis saying, credit where it's due. Letting go of Ben Rama and Watkins and getting promoted is impressive, which is very true. Very impressive from them. They've done really, really well to get themselves up. I mean, Gabriel Studios as... oh, God. I mean, I'm just not going to say anything. Well, yeah. I'm not going to say anything. You tried. I'll give you credit. You tried. 2 minutes left of this game. I think we'll probably have 1 or 2 minutes of additional time. If you're a Swansea fan, you probably don't want any minutes. You just want to get back on that coach and go home. And I would assume there'll probably be a few Swansea fans already walking out of Wembley and getting ready to get back on the coach home. A long coach as well, back to Wales. If you're from Brentford, bloody brilliant. A walk down the road, isn't it? I think from where we saw the community stadium, literally, it's probably about 5 or 10 minutes away, Wembley. So, not really a long travel today for the Brentford fans. But they've got a free kick here, Swansea. And with 1.5 minutes left of the game, maybe a chance to get a probable consolation goal. And it'd be nice for them to get a consolation goal. Maybe give Brentford some nerves for a minute or two. But I don't think they're going to do that. So, ball going to be lofted into the box. Bit of pushing and shoving going on. It's lobbed in. And as expected, no one there. Comes towards Andre Ayew. Doesn't get to him. Taken on by Jan Danda. And in the end, it doesn't come to anything. Gabriel Studios asked why is Swansea targeting the Brentford players for some reason. I don't know, honestly. We said at the start of the game that Swansea's tackling throughout pretty much all of this game has been ruthless. Like, really, really bad tackles. A lot of feisty ones going in. And I don't know whether that was the game plan to go in with feisty tackles and hefty ones, but it's not worked. It's not worked in its slightest. And I've got to say, look, I think for me, Swansea's game plan today was all wrong. It played into Brentford's hands. They got the 2 goals early on. And to be honest, if you're a Brentford player, I actually don't think you've had to work hard. I don't think this is probably the easiest game of all of the playoff matches they've had. I think Bournemouth were a harder opponent for them. And I guess when you look at the 2 styles and how Brentford and Swansea play, Swansea are a little bit more of a defensive team, Brentford more attacking. So in the long run, you'd probably always back Brentford. But yeah, for me, it's just one of those where Swansea's not played well. But Louis says, Joshua Stream over Goldbridge. Any day. You're a legend. Thank you, Louis. As we go into 6 additional minutes of added time, that's surely 6 minutes enough for all of the fans of Swansea to get out of their seats and get onto the coach and maybe even set off before the game's even finished. But 6 minutes to wait for Thomas Frank and his side to celebrate what is a very, very deserved bid for promotion. They finished 3rd in the Championship, and on a season where for large parts they were looking like they were going to get automatically promoted, it was Norwich and it was Watford who were eventually going to run away with it. And if maybe there were a few Brentford fans out there a little bit disappointed that they didn't get a guaranteed spot in the Premier League from the top 2 automatic promotion positions. But I will tell you something. They have fought hard to get into this playoff final. That game against Bournemouth wasn't easy in the 2 legs. But what they did is they played some bloody good football. And they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. And I think most fans, unless you're a Swansea fan, will be happy that they're going up, as we're going to get a few more changes here for Brentford. And it's going to be Marcondes who comes off, and the goal-scoring hero, the second goal scorer in the game, is going to get himself a standing ovation from the 6,000 Brentford fans. What a shift he's put in. Man of the match for Emiliano. And Patricia saying Brentford from a Leeds supporter. Of course, look, everybody wants them to go up. And then just me saying Brentford in the Premier League. It feels like football from a parallel universe as Bidstrup comes on for the last few minutes of this match. But it's taken them 9 attempts. 9 attempts in the playoffs in their history. They've never won a final. And now they're going to win it. And they're going to be in the Premier League, and I can't wait to see what they do next season. I was saying, of course, as Patricia's a Leeds fan, funnily enough, I said for me, next season, Brentford-Leeds will be a very exciting game to watch, because they're 2 sides that have got very astute managers, very organised teams, very good attacking. So I'm kind of excited to see what Brentford and Leeds is like next season in the Premier League. And I'm excited to see what Brentford do and how they play. I think they've got a very good team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them in the Premier League next season. Teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, Leeds are going to be very exciting to watch and come up against next season. Even Manchester City, I think, could be a very exciting one. But, well, I think they were going to the corner flag there, Brentford. Don't really need to. Just lofted the ball in anyway, because, well, it doesn't really matter. They're going to need to score 2 goals minimum, Swansea. Don't think they're going to do that with 3 minutes left. And it's just all hit and home now for Swansea. As the clock ticks down. Ball's lofted long. Comes to Andre Ayew. Can they get a consolation goal? The answer is no. Ball headed away by Pinnock. Brentford got the players back. Jensen heads it away. Booted up to clear the ball away and waste a bit of time. Jan Dander gets a flick on the ball. Tries to get it into the path of Gehi, who's up top now. Acting as a striker. Long ball, lofted. Trying to get it to Jamal Lowe. Doesn't come to him in the end. Jan Dander takes the ball down. Back to Dander again at the edge of the box. Flicks a ball in. Tries to get it into the path of, I think, it was Grimes. Roberts gets the ball back. Ball lofted in. Getting it towards Andre Ayew. Doesn't come to him. Comes back to Swansea once again. Here's Jan Dander. Edge of the box. Flicks the ball in. Tries to get it to Ayew. Doesn't come to him. And Swansea will get the ball back again with 2 minutes left on the clock. Gabriel saying, I've just realised Swansea made so many fouls that they gave them 6 extra minutes to score. Now I get them. How many fouls have they made? Probably a lot of them. Ball chance though here for a goal. And the flag's up anyway against Cabango. And he missed the chance. And there'll be no chance, I think, for Swansea. That will probably be it as we go into the final minute and a half of the game. Gabriel's asked Brentford's old or new badge. It's a tough one because I liked Brentford's old badge. But I guess I like the new one as well. I think the Hornet on it does look quite nice, and I guess now obviously they've got the name of the Hornets and things like that. I like Brentford's new one. I'd probably say the new one. It's just harder, isn't it? You know, when you get used to a badge for a long period of time, you know, when teams have changed them. You know, Man City changed theirs. Obviously, when Leeds tried changing theirs, that didn't work, did it? That did not last long. But Brentford's is nice. I think Brentford's was a good change. But they're a minute away now. And David Raya will take the longest time possible to boot this ball up the pitch. And with 45 seconds left on the clock, the team that dared to believe, time and time again, they've come to the playoffs. And they've tried to believe, and they fell at the last hurdle. 9 times they've been in the playoffs. 4 times they've been at Wembley in the final. And every single time they have lost at the final hurdle. We saw it last year. The 2-0 defeat to Fulham. Could have that been the difference maker in what's been an incredible season? The top scorer, Ivan Toney. The most goals in the Championship. And to top it off, an incredible EFL Championship Playoff Semi-Final campaign, which is going to end with Brentford Premier League contenders for next year. And the man who has been through heartache with this side before has a massive smile on his face. And the 6,000 supporters that have dared to dream for years that Brentford would be in the Premier League can now get themselves ready for action at the Community Stadium next season, because Brentford are in the Premier League. They played the game with heart. They played the game with spirit. And for me, as I said, it's probably one of the easiest games of the season they've had in terms of winning the match. But Thomas Frank, the likes of Ivan Toney, David Raya, Brian Mbeumo are Premier League players next season. And finally, they break the duct. And they are in the Premier League next season. And congratulations to them. Commiserations to Swansea, who just didn't play well today. Not the greatest game at all, you have to admit, from them. But for the first time since 1947, will Brentford be in the top flight of football? And credit to them. And as I said, commiserations to Steve Cooper. But ultimately tonight, they just didn't play well. It wasn't Swansea's night whatsoever. And I think if you're a Swansea fan, you will be very, very, very disappointed with how they played. But they're in the Premier League now, Brentford. All the fans will have a fairly short walk home. They're only about 10 minutes away from the stadium. But I don't think they'll be leaving the stadium anytime soon, because they are in the Premier League. And I cannot wait to see next season Brentford up against the likes of Manchester City, Leeds, vice versa. And that is it for tonight's or this afternoon's watch-along. I've got to say, thank you to everybody that's been in the stream. A very, very high view watch-along. Greatly appreciated for all of you guys that have turned up to the stream. Don't forget, we will be live, actually, a little bit later on tonight. There is another game still to come, and what a game this could be. From the Championship to the Champions League, the playoff semi-finals are all done and dusted. What about an all-English tie? Manchester City up against Chelsea. You can join myself, KL and Rowan live from 10 to 8 for the UCL final. Should be a cracker. Tomorrow we've got the next playoff final. League One sees Blackpool up against Lincoln City. That is from 5 to 3 tomorrow afternoon. And then Morecambe up against Newport County. That's also at 5 to 3 on Bank Holiday Monday. You do not want to miss out on those. Going to be brilliant, brilliant watch-alongs ahead of a fantastic weekend of finals action. But as for now, as I said, do check out our social media to see when we go live over the next few weeks. Our Twitter is @_topcorner, and our website is thesports-corner.com. Link is in the description as always, and it's also in the chat. Thank you very much, Carl, as always. But as for now, I will be back with KL and Rowan in just under 2 to 3 hours. We'll be live for the Champions League final. Is it going to be City or is it going to be Chelsea? We'll have to find out a little bit later on. Should be a Corfu game. But as for now, have a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are, and we'll see you for the UCL final later on. Good night.